That record holds now that the camera completely
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Grand Prix Podcast. I am Elton, this is Andy.
Hello there.
And you're not in the country. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm coming to you all the way from the west coast of the United States, because my wife is here, so I'm spending some time with her. But basically, we've had to get extra long string between the tin cans we used to record.
Mm-hmm.
So if the quality isn't quite up to the high standards we like to maintain here on the Grand Prix Podcast, that is why. But rest assured, the rest of the content is just as bobbins as it always is.
Oh, yes, it will be. It will be full of swears and just opinions of two idiots that don't know what they're talking about. So you have been warned.
Whatsoever. So, yes, fair warnings. If things like that upset you,
ta-da.
Shame. Ta-da.
Anyway, so we're here to cover the 2018 French Grand Prix.
Something just occurred to me, though, very briefly, before you get onto that. I'm away for the entire triple header.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well done, you.
I don't get back until the 10th, which means, yes, so for the next two ones, this is the setup we'll be doing. I had to get up at like 6:30 this morning to watch this.
Right, okay. Well, in my pocket, I do have a spare ticket for the British Grand Prix, so,
Oh, you utter Williams driver. That's all I can think of to say right now.
I don't have one just yet. Yeah, just put your heart at rest, so don't worry.
All right, fine. It's fine. I can at least watch the race, not just the one corner as they go by.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So, okay, I want your initial impressions. Just give me a little soupçon of what you thought of this race that we saw today.
You want to do this now and not when we get to it? Because I'm happy to give you it now. It might spoil the surprise for people.
Okay, all right, then we'll leave it until later then.
Okay, then let's do that.
I feel we might be ruining something later on. Okay,
we might be. We'll see. I'm English. I like a little joshing with the French. So let's just save it up. Let's save it up. Some anticipation, eh?
Good. Okay, so
needless to say though, I think we both have thoughts.
I think one of us has thoughts. So.
That's ominous.
Yeah, it is, I think. Anyway, before we do that, and I think we've teased it enough, what happened, or did anything happen in between the last race and this race?
Oh, it all kicked off, didn't it? Everything happened. All of the news landed this in between these two races. Shall we start with a big one?
What one is that one?
Well, the first big one, I suppose, is Red Bull have finally pulled the pin and are moving to Honda engines from next season on a 2-year contract.
Exactly what I said they wouldn't do because it's at the French Grand Prix.
And exactly what I said they wouldn't do because, frankly, they'd be stupid to do it.
Yes. And yet they still did it.
I tell you, man, people just don't listen to us. I don't think we're getting the respect we're owed.
No, well, it sounds like they were going to use the French Grand Prix as like a bedstone to what they get from their telemetry or from Honda, but they just decided, do you know what? We got enough data from the Canadian Grand Prix, so sod it, let's go for it.
Something like that. And also apparently Renault were constantly badgering them to make a decision, which is, fair enough. They don't want to be kind of, will they, won't they until, Singapore or something like that. Mm-hmm. So to spite their face, as it were, they Red Bull turned around right before the French Grand Prix and told the French engine manufacturer, no.
It's bizarre. Honestly, I didn't think they would actually go for Honda. I thought they'd stay with the Renault.
Well, at this point, though, I kind of feel like it's more out of spite than anything. They've been trying to get away from Renault for so long. I kind of think it's almost part of their DNA.
Yeah.
It's just gotten to that point where, if they didn't do it, if they stuck with Honda, they lose, in their eyes, credibility. That being said, though, they've already announced they're leaving Renault once before and it never actually happened. So who knows?
No, well, Renault kind of picked up their game a little bit, though, didn't they, when that happened? That was in 2014 when Vettel couldn't catch a win for love nor money.
Well, it was right after the change to these hybrids, and that's true. But again, they've won 2 races this season with this engine, this Tag Heuer. And again, they came second and almost third. I mean, what stopped them getting a double podium today was down to aero damage. Nothing wrong with the engine. And again, they're kind of up and ahead. And as I said last time, because they've got that point of comparison between the Renault team and what I'm going to from now on be referring to as the Arrows team, which have the same engine in there. They can see how good their aero package is by comparison in their chassis.
Yeah. Whereas
I do feel that with only Toro Rosso as a point of contact, and again Toro Rosso, it's the old Minardi team effectively, and I don't want to take anything away from Toro Rosso because they've done amazing work. That they really are giant killers in that respect, but I don't think it's going to give Red Bull a fair comparison of where they stand on a baseline. Just my thoughts on that.
I think it is going to give them certain numbers, though, that they want. They're going to get the engine numbers that they really deserve. Maybe not, lap times or actual specifics, which would be down to their car and their aero, and different on the Toro Rosso. But they're going to get what they need. And because they know what they pull from the Renault, and so all they need to do is take them numbers and put them in their car, and then they have a better car.
Well, that's very true. It is very, very true. Maybe it's just more from a perception thing. You look better if you're beating a works team and you have a customer team than if you're just beating your B team.
That's true. Yeah.
Also, and again, let's just bear in mind, Honda made significant progress in 2016. Just to throw it all away at the beginning of 2017.
Yes.
So just because this year the engine has been slightly better, I still think they're down on reliability. In fact, I think Gasly had to have a new engine effectively this race in France. Oh, well, no, it was Hartley, didn't he?
Yeah, he pulled over, yeah.
So they've already used at least one car's full allocation of engines, and I think Gasly's on his last. So again, just as far as reliability goes on the Honda, they're still not there yet. So I do think it's a bit of a gamble. I mean, at the end of the day, I do think the reasoning behind why McLaren went to Honda in the first place is sound. Mm-hmm. You have greater options as a works team than you do as a customer team. But what's changed since then is the FIA has mandated all customer spec engines must be the same as work spec. You can't give them detuned engines anymore. You can't deny them access to power modes anymore. So fundamentally, the engine in the back of a Red Bull is the same as the one in the back of a Renault as in the back of the Arrows. And just like with Mercedes, the engine in the back of Lewis's car is the same as in the back of one of Ocon's car, same as in the back of one as Stroll's car. There's parity in that respect there. So I don't think being works team is necessarily the same advantage it was when McLaren made that decision. Sorry, Arrows.
Yeah, the Lost Boys. Yeah. I don't know if I feel sorry for McLaren or not, because they have 3 years of utter fucking guff, really, didn't they?
No, they're in for a kicking. Don't you worry. Yeah. We can do it now if you want, but I was going to save it.
No, we'll save it. We'll definitely save it. So, yeah, Red Bull are going with Honda from 2019 then. Yes,
but only on a 2-year contract. Mm-hmm. So that takes them up until the new 2021 engine regs come in. Mm-hmm. And apparently Aston Martin are going to continue to be a sponsor.
Yes. Well, they don't make engines, though, do they?
No, but they make cars.
They do, but not.
And they make their own engines for those. I thought Aston Martin make their own engines for their road cars.
I didn't think they did.
I think they do.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, they don't make hybrid, high-powered Formula One engines, and I don't think they've really got the facilities to do that.
No, again, and I get all that, but it's just in terms of Aston Martin using Red Bull for marketing and all that sort of stuff, it does seem a little, what's the way to put this?
I think they want Adrian Newey just to keep designing stuff for them.
Well, that's another rumour I have on the next piece of news, which we can get to in a second if you want. In fact, we could probably move on to it right now because it ties straight into this. Heavy rumours coming out of a paddock that Adrian Newey is off at the end of the season to Renault.
What?
Yep, I know.
Renault?
That's what I heard. That was the rumour.
As in like the Renault Works team, as in Renault, as in the black and yellow cars that are going around.
As in the Bumblebees, yep.
I don't know what to do with that information. I haven't heard that, and okay.
I saw it reported this week. I'll see if I can find the actual link and I'll send it to you.
How many dump trucks of money did they reverse up to his house?
I suspect probably all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't know. That was just a rumor. And I just thought that was if it's true, and again, it's only a rumor. If it's true, though, I will laugh so hard.
Wow, that is surprising. But then again, I suppose he's done his job. He can't be moaned at Red Bull, can he? He's done his job there. He's kept abreast of everything. He's kept them up in the championship running. He's got them wins because that is maybe 50% of the reason why they're winning.
Yeah, here you go. Renault interested in Adrian Newey to become a top team again. So that was the thing. So again, it's a rumor. Don't know what will come of it. I can see the appeal to Adrian Newey again because he's kind of I think with Red Bull he's kind of done all he's done the job there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And again with Renault, it's the kind of thing that Ross Brawn has. There's the appeal of taking a midfield team, one that is maybe on the cusp, and just giving it that little push to to get over to become a championship winning team, and then maybe that would be the thing. I'm just reading here another report. This is from Monday just gone, and it says he just refuses to confirm or deny the rumours when put to him.
Okay.
When he was asked about it, he just said, "I work for Red Bull. Through that partnership with Aston Martin, them as well." He just wouldn't answer it. So yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So I know one thing that you might be talking about because of this Red Bull and Honda story, and possibly Adrian Newey as well. Now, have you got Danny on your radar?
Ricardo.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any specific news about him. Obviously, he's kind of like the big linchpin at the minute as to will he, won't he, where will he be next season? Because he's still signed for Red Bull. And again, I'd be curious as to, obviously, I think this is what he was waiting for before he made a decision to see what engines they have. And at that point, it's like, well, okay, now that's taken care of. It's a question of, where do you trust what Honda say, or do you try and see if you can get in at Ferrari or Mercedes? Because they're the only teams I can see him being interested in. Apparently, Toto Wolff has said their driver lineup is unchanged, even though neither are currently signed.
Yeah.
And I just can't see him at Ferrari with Vettel.
No, I see Vettel vetoing that straight off. That being
said, if Newey was to jump over to Renault, I could see someone like Ricciardo following him. I could see that happening in the same way that when Ross Brawn and everyone went from Benetton to Ferrari with Schumacher, they kind of took the team. So I could see that happening potentially. But again, this is all just kind of rampant speculation and rumor.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then you start juggling the pack again, then, don't you?
Yep, a little bit.
Because Sainz could go back to Red Bull. Exactly.
Yeah. Because again, he's still contracted to them. He's only on loan to Renault.
Yeah. Or Hülkenberg to Ferrari.
No, I mean, in my opinion, the person there's going to be one or two people in the Ferrari next to Vettel next year.
Oh yeah.
It's either Kimi or Leclerc.
Yeah.
It's down to those two, and that basically just boils down to how much say Vettel has in it, I think.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anything else?
Yeah, I've got a couple more bits. I know we recorded an entire podcast about this, but I feel it's worth noting that Fernando Alonso won Le Mans, just for those of you who skipped our excellent recap of the 24 Hours of Le Mans last time out.
Well, I'd say the excellent 24 Hours of Le Mans, and we did a podcast on it. Maybe not as excellent as the race itself, but, people should definitely go out and check it.
They should definitely go out and check it. But yes, Alonso achieved the second prong in his Triple Crown.
Yep.
So that done. And again, I was going to talk about this a little bit later on, but fuck it, I may as well just talk about it now. I don't think there's a chance in hell Alonso is in Formula One next year.
No, not a chance.
I think so. Basically, he's already committed to doing the entire WEC season, the Super season, but they've been very careful, and with the exception of Fuji, which they had to move to accommodate Alonso, none of the races actually clash with any IndyCar or Formula One races, so he can do the rest of the season. So I think what's going to happen is McLaren are going to effectively run a IndyCar team, probably as a sub-part of the Andretti team, like they did at the Indy 500 last time out, with Alonso as one of their drivers. I don't know if they go for two drivers or one driver. They might just go for one, I don't know. But then I think you'll see Alonso there. And then something else he was talking about over the Le Mans weekend now is the Super Triple Crown, which is to win the three championships, to win the WEC Championship and the Indy Championship.
Oh, okay.
So I think we might well see that happening. But yeah, I don't think there is a chance in all holy hell that Alonso will be in Formula One next year.
He's just making up his own little super things, though, isn't he? I bet when he goes to a restaurant, he's like, "Oh look, I have super drinks. I have a still drink. I have a fizzy drink, and I have a warm drink. Look, I have got all three drinks. I won."
I think he's just bored, and he wants stuff to do that he knows he can win. I mean, I don't think anyone could describe this weekend for him as fun, especially after the weekend before. And so, yeah, I think it's more of a case of he's going for the Triple Crown. When he was committed to doing the full season for WEC, he saw, well, look, I'm in one of only two works cars here. Odds are we're going to win the championship. And then it's like, well, then I've won the Formula One World Championship and the WEC Championship. If I then go on and win the IndyCar Championship, boom, that's another thing. That's something no one's ever done before. So.
No, I'm trying to rack my brain. I wouldn't have a clue, really. I know the IndyCar and the Formula One car champions, but
yeah, we've had a couple of that, but I don't think we've then had them who've also done the WEC. So who knows? But well, we'll see. Okay. So yeah, that was just Alonso watch. I think that's what we'll call it. Just what it was called, Alonso watch from now forward. I think that's about it in terms of the newsy news stuff.
Okay.
There, just having a quick flick through good old Autosport. See if
that's all I had anyway. It was I had Danny Ricciardo and him moving the Ferrari drivers and possibly Leclerc moving up to Ferrari because he's bang on their radar.
Oh, he's the closest they've ever had to a protege getting into a Ferrari, I think.
Yeah.
I think they might feel a bit because Jules Bianchi was their star boy. Wasn't it? And then,
he was destined to move up, wasn't he?
He tragically was killed. And I think they might feel that they missed an opportunity there. So they might not want to risk, missing out again in that one. So we'll have to see. A couple of other bit of news, just having a quick look here. The FAI are reworking the VSC system because apparently it was possible to effectively gain a few hundredths per lap by taking shortcuts.
Shortcuts?
I don't know. I've got a whole rant on the VSC, which we'll get to later. I'll do that then.
Oh, good, because I just want to get rid of it.
Yeah, me too. Lando Norris has apparently been chased by 3 F1 teams. I think he's going to be in the McLaren next year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be alongside Van Dorn, but who knows?
There was a story about McLaren, if Alonso doesn't stay, that they want Danny Ricciardo.
There was that. There was indeed that. But there's another McLaren story, which was the other bit of news I forgot to mention. Apparently, if ever you start a sentence with the word apparently, it's bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
yeah. A spokesman said.
Yes. Allegedly, there you go. There was a report that McLaren employees have issued an ultimatum to the team to bring back Martin Whitmarsh to fix the team because they think that they're lost and adrift, and also they want to get rid of Eric Boulier and all this. And this was reported in the Daily Mail, so it's true then, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So obviously McLaren have come out hard against this. In my mind, a little bit too hard. The lady doth protest too much, saying no, the team's all very, very happy. We've only had like one or two bad eggs. I don't think Martin's the right guy. He's a lovely bloke, but the rot started to set in under his watch. Because lest we forget, it was. I mean, they were like the Mercedes customer team, a top tier one.
That's right. Yeah.
And they were, lounging around towards the back of it. They went away from Ron's, iron fist way of doing things to a much more egalitarian sort of like, so what do you think we should do system? Or you do this car and I'll do the next car, and that kind of a thing. And they've just been a mess ever since, really.
They have some teams suit the iron fist and the dictatorship, and Ron definitely had that. And he led it, and everything was very clinical, and nothing was out of place. But I feel that McLaren needs that. That is the way that they are born, bred and buttered up until this point, and then all of a sudden it was just let go.
It's pretty much. I also think the diversification into road cars split their focus. They suddenly weren't as attentive on the Formula One because they had other concerns.
Well, it was easy for them, wasn't it, to juggle the bits? Yeah,
but I just feel that there's too many chefs spoiling that broth, and there's got to be some hard questions asked.
Yeah. But Whitmarsh isn't going back, though, is he? There's no chance that he'll go back.
Well, Zach Brown categorically said it's never going to happen. But again, if I was Zach Brown, I'd be watching my own back as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Do we think that he'll still be there next year?
I think Zach Brown will still be there, yeah. I don't know about Eric Boulier.
Yeah, I have to admit, when he was promoted from, signed from the Lotus team, or the Renault team as it is now, it surprised. I liked him, but it surprised me. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel a very McLaren way of doing things.
It didn't. No, he isn't one of those. I want to say the old guard, but they kind of suit. I could see a Paddy Lowe in there. I could see a Ross Brawn going there. I could see those types going there, but I don't. Well, hell, he's been there, but you just kind of get to the point where you're running out of excuses.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, if you were working for McLaren, you'd be watching over your back all the time, making sure you was 110% correct in what you were doing and to the best of your ability. And with Boulier, I feel that it's a more of a relaxed approach. And like I said again, the McLaren is kind of that's the foundation of McLaren, isn't it? It's very straight down the line, very authoritative, and yet Boulier's come in and he's a bit more relaxed. No, it's okay, guys. Let's do this, let's do that. And you have Saturday off, it'll be fine.
Do you remember? You remember a couple of years ago they were doing bloody cartoons. It's like McLaren.
I hated all that.
Yeah, and that's my point. It's like, well, why are you wasting time? And even if you're contracting it to someone else to do it, in what way did you think that was a good idea?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like any of that stuff. And then they start picking up Mika Hakkinen. I was never a fan of Mika Hakkinen's, so you just lost me straight away on that.
Yeah, well. So, I think that's all the news. At least it's all I can be asked to talk about. I mean, this isn't really news, just something that was making the rounds.
Yep.
The traffic around Paul Ricard apparently was an absolute mess because seems someone, although they did a lovely job upgrading the track, kind of forgot to upgrade anything around it.
But they got a lovely airport next door as well, though, haven't they?
That is true. Ted was saying on his notebook that you get a lot of the big wigs in because they can fly their private jets in the morning, do their business, have their meetings, watch the race, and then just 5-minute buggy ride back onto the plane and out of there.
Yeah, I'd imagine there'd be a lot of golf carts just driving back to the airport.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, right. I'm going to jump onto free practice then, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
There's like 3 things to talk about in free practices, if that's all right.
Okay.
One is Ericsson's crash.
Yes.
which was, it brought out the set, that was in FP1, and it brought the session to an early end after Ericsson binned his car in the Sauber at turn 10. And it was a heavy shunt, wasn't it? And
it was pretty heavy.
Fire as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was a pretty heavy shunt, but the fire was the scarier thing the way that kind of went. It's been a long time since we've seen a fuel fire.
It was a 30G impact, which it's been reported as, and a cracked oil pipe. And the cracked oil pipe, I think it was a carbon fibre oil pipe. So it's cracked and it's leaked all the oil. Everyone's burning oil. So are you surprised it caught fire? And it went up. He lost his rear wing mirror on the left right hand side of the car, so he couldn't see the fire himself. So he was sat in a tub while it was just cooking away.
Yeah, the team had to tell him to get out. Yeah. It was a little disturbing how long it took marshals to get there with fire extinguishers as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, I would have thought that they'd be stationed all the way around the circuit, but yeah, there were a couple of marshals that turned up, but they didn't have any fire extinguishers, did they?
No, they didn't.
But yeah, that was quite heavy, so he didn't really run for the rest of the day, and pretty much a full rebuild on that car.
Well, the car came back to the pits. It was a blackened mess, wasn't it?
It was a crisp.
It was.
What else was there? In free practice 2, Perez had a huge moment when his left rear flew off.
Yep.
It doesn't appear to be a nut failure I think it's more of a housing failure than the actual wheel nut falling off. The wheel nut was almost shown to be there, but he went round he'd already done a flying lap on that set of tyres, and everything looked normal.
I don't think he'd done the flying lap. He done his out lap. He was starting his flying, I think.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. He was on his flying lap, but he'd already done a lap anyway, and hadn't reported anything that was wrong with it. And went into a left and right chicane, and promptly lost his rear wheel. And the scary thing about it is the speed that wheel just took off down the track.
Yeah, no, it was kind of terrifying because again, it just kind of went and it starts shooting off down the road. And again, that's literally worst case scenario, because the amount of force in there, if that had collected something, that is literally the reason they have the halos.
Yes.
But it's going with that sort of speed and ferocity, that could jump barriers and things like that. I mean, this is why they have the wheel tethers, but the wheel tethers connect the drum assembly, not the wheel, because obviously you have to take the wheels on and off. So with that failure, it just went off. I did want to mention as well, because we saw with Ocon's crash at the beginning of the race, I don't know if it was the wheel or the carcass, but again, there was a wheel shooting off from that car. Yeah,
there was, yeah. I'm sure we'll get around to that very soon. I couldn't work out where that came from, though.
It was from Ocon after he was collected. But again, another wheel rolling down the road from a Force India, because they were given a suspended €85,000 fine. Yeah, they were fined €15,000 for the Perez moment, because they've had a couple of instances previous in this season, and it was a suspended sentence of €85,000. Yeah. So whether they get slammed with that as well. In an accident, though, I suppose, if it is just a carcass, it might have just been a puncture, and then it's delaminated and deflated rapidly, and then you could rip the carcass off. Yeah, I mean, if it's the carcass, they might be a bit more lenient. But again, I mean, the fear is it's just given the weight of these tires. They're very worried about them, just flying off and hitting, hitting people. I think what we might see, because there's a big push from Pirelli to go to the was it 15 or 17 inch rims from next year or the year after? I don't know. Then there's a lot less rubber potentially to go flying. So in the event of a delamination or something like that, a lot less weight potentially to hit people. Yep. More wheel though. More wheel, but the wheels tend to be lighter, just because they're made out of magnesium or whatever. Yeah, I'd rather be hit in the face with a rubber tyre than a magnesium tyre or magnesium wheel. But then again, if I'm being hit in the face, I'd probably still be dead either way. Well, I was going to say yes, but it's the difference between being hit in the face by, say, an 800-pound tyre or a 200-pound wheel.
Yeah,
I don't believe that they weigh that much. I'm just throwing numbers out there. My point is they're heavy.
Yes, and I would be a dirty little mess on the floor.
Little smear on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. In Free Practice 3, we had rain, and lots of rain as well. Lots of rain? No, there was a lack of running, though. And Alonso was, I think, the first out on the tyres, on the wet tyres, which was towards the end. And there was a lot of people moaning about what's going on with Formula One, where we get given a set of tyres on free practice on the Friday, and yet we can't move that over to the Saturday just to give us a bit of entertainment. Yeah,
again, it's this whole they've got to decide what's important to them. Is it the show, or is it the is it the show, or is it the, and I'm quoting here, the sport?
Yeah,
so. And until Formula One can kind of come to terms with that in their own mind, I think we're going to be in this sort of a mess. And yeah, it was good seeing Alonso, going out in that, and it made sense because they were predicting there would be rain potentially in the race, and you'd think they'd want to get some running again, like he did at Le Mans. If you've got those changeable conditions, go out and just get a sense of where it is.
Yeah.
But no one did, and I know you're not a huge fan of the rain tyres, are you? Because I saw your tweet.
Oh, they're utter guff.
Yeah.
Doesn't anyone remember from last year when nobody could drive on them?
Yeah.
They're shite. I personally would rather get rid of Pirelli. I'd rather go with a different manufacturer now.
Yeah.
We've done years and years with Pirelli now. I'm not saying go back to Goodyear. Maybe, I don't know, there's a million out there. Michelin kind of burnt their bridges when they screwed up the American or the United States Grand Prix years back. But
we've not had Dunlop for a while, have we? How about Dunlop?
Dunlop, Firestone, Hancock, there's tons.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd want a war, though. I don't like the wars.
No, I don't want a war, but I do agree. Maybe it should be that they have like a 3-year tyre contract sort of thing.
Mm.
So they do it for 3 years and then someone else comes in and does it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Trying to think, what else was it? No, that was it. Stroll. He was driving around in Free Practice 3 in the rain, and they told him, don't forget to put your light on. And he's like, I don't know, where is the light? Where is the light? And I think that is on a wet setting. You have to kind of click one of the big dials over to wet, just to say you're driving on the bigger dimension tyres. And
it does all the ECU stuff as well for wet running. So things like while they're limited in what they can do with engine maps and all that, I think it makes it less torquey and stuff like that to reduce the chance of wheel spin and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're meant to stick it into wet mode effectively.
Yeah. He's driving around on dry mode, going, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that was Free Practice 3. Are you all right to do qualifying now?
Yeah, we can go straight into qualifying.
Okay, well, you saw the qualifying, didn't you?
I did watch the qualifying, yes.
Was it exciting for you?
If I could quote a recent politician in the US, my thoughts on it were, womp womp.
Right, okay. Okay, well,
especially Q1. Especially Q1.
Okay, well, the track had dried by qualifying, and people thought that the rain would be coming along. And at one point, I suppose there were spots later on. I think it was. There was a
couple of spots. I think in Q2.
Yeah.
I know they were talking about some spots and everything like that. Yeah. But again, it never really materialised. But the track was quite green because it had rained earlier.
Yeah. So the track had dried for Q1. There were a very few drops of rain towards the very end, but I know that Stroll hit one of the baguette curbs and nearly took off. And that was about the only talking point in Q1 that we had.
Well, no, there's another talking point about Q1 that we have.
Go on, what have I missed on it then?
What the fuck are the two great British racing teams doing out in Q1?
Oh, okay, yes. I was going to get to that in a second.
All right.
Okay, well, if I run down the bottom five, we lost Stroll, Sorokin, Van Dorn, Hartley, and Alonso. So we lost.
Now Hartley, so just very quickly before we go on, Hartley, as we've already said, had a engine replacement.
Yeah,
he wasn't trying.
Mm-hmm.
He was going out there to do a 107% lap and get some, a little bit of track time.
Yeah,
he wasn't qualifying.
No.
So effectively, in Q1, we have out the 2 Williams and the 2 McLarens.
So, what the hell is going on, man? I remember you sending me a message saying the last time the Formula 1 circus came to Paul Ricard, McLaren were on top.
Well, again, I think it was 93? Was it 93 the last race here?
1990.
Was it 1990? Okay, so 1990 was the last time. So we're talking the FW12, I want to say. It's effectively the one before the Adrian Newey dominated everything Williams, that's going out there. And we're at the height of McLaren Honda, effectively. Senna and Prost. It is the definitive golden age of the sport, effectively. Was the last time those two teams were here. Because, of the teams that were racing today, only 3 were still racing back then. That's going to be McLaren, Honda, McLaren, Williams, and Ferrari.
Yeah.
I know we've got Renault, but it's not.
It was Senna and Berger in the...
Senna and Berger, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. But still, it's like, they've gone from literally be running at the front, however many years ago it was, to going around the back. And it is embarrassing. I think, look, we know the quality of Alonso. That's not in question. And we also know how highly people speak of Van Dorn. So I don't think McLaren's problem is its drivers.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think Williams' problem is its drivers, though.
I think it's a mix of everything, really. I think it's...
No, I get that, but I don't think their drivers can give them the input and the feedback to fix the other problems.
Yeah. Yeah, it's experience. It is the drivers, I suppose, to a certain extent. But I don't know. Williams have got it so wrong. Okay, McLaren, they've come off at the back of 3 years of utter guff with Honda. And now they're in the Renault, and now they're realising, well, hang on, it wasn't all of Honda, it was some of us as well, so we've got to play catch up on that. But Williams have had that Mercedes in there for years, haven't they?
Well, it's the thing, yeah. They've had that engine for a long time. For the most part, from what again, they've got Paddy Lowe's there now. No one's questioning, can Paddy Lowe do this? He's only just arrived, though, and again, it takes time to change course in an organisation like that. But they've lost. Someone's taken their hand off a wheel somewhere or done something like that, and it's just, wow. It's dire.
Yeah, it's worrying, isn't it?
It's very worrying, especially since Williams, I think, the only publicly traded Formula One team, is it? So again, a lot of their income comes through stock. So who's going to be invested in bloody Williams? Not me.
No, not a chance.
I'm just looking here at the results. So for Williams, 2014 and 15 they were 3rd overall.
Yeah.
Then 2016 5th, 2017 5th. At present they're 10th. Now in 2013 they were 9th. 2012 8th. 2011 9th. So yeah, it does seem like we're right back in that sort of when they were with the Cosworths and when they first went back to the Renaults. Now McLaren, looking at their ones, the last time they were in the top 3 for the championship was 2012.
Yeah.
Then we've had a 5th, a 9th, a 5th, a 9th, and a 5th. So the rot set in at McLaren quite a bit earlier, in my opinion. Like I said, it was pretty much 2012, and that was the last season of Hamilton and Button together.
The only thing with McLaren, their saving grace is that I know people say that we blow smoke up Alonso's ass, but he has been dragging that car around. There's no denying that whatsoever. If he hasn't, then Van Dorn would be more on par with him.
Well, the thing is, I don't think anyone can argue the fact Alonso hasn't been dragging it up. And again, I'm not saying Alonso's unique in that regard. I mean, you stick Hamilton, you stick Vettel, Ricciardo, any of these, potentially championship-winning drivers in a car, they will flatter it.
Yeah.
They will make it seem a lot better than it is. But, they're just in this situation now where they're going to lose Alonso next year. He might still be with McLaren, but he's not going to be in McLaren in Formula One.
No
chance.
Way. No way. It wouldn't surprise me if they got rid of Van Dorn as well.
Which would be a shame because I just don't think. I think the problem there has been more with the car.
Yeah, but I feel that they will be blaming McLaren are in the habit at the moment of blaming others rather than themselves.
Well, I mean, who should fall on their sword though? That's the question.
I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. It's just a sad state of affairs where you got Williams and both McLarens at the very back of the grid, bar one.
The thing is, I think Williams are in a more precarious position than McLaren is. Because, again, as of recording, McLaren are still fifth in the championship. They're comfortably clear at the minute, still of Force India, Haas, Sauber, certainly Williams.
Yeah, so they got a bit of a pot coming towards them at the end of the season compared to Williams.
Well, they got a pot, but never mind that. I think they are... Because apparently there's a correlation problem between what their wind tunnel's showing them and what the car's doing.
Right.
If they're able to understand that, hopefully they can start moving forward again. And they have Alonso.
Yeah.
Williams don't have that. And I mean, they've only got 4 points this season.
Jesus.
4 total. So, yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen there. And, not just being what they are. I mean, I know they get a little bit extra as being one of the heritage teams, whatever you want to call it, but it's not a lot. And yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see that. I think we're getting used to seeing Williams almost battling with the Saubers. The Saubers seem to be creeping up ever so slightly, but the Williams seem to be falling back. We're kind of getting used to them being the slowest now.
Well, I was going to say though, I mean, the Saubers certainly with Leclerc running it is kind of where we'd be expecting Williams to be.
Yeah.
Up at the sharp end of the midfield.
Yeah, definitely. Oh.
I mean, it does show though, just compared to last year, how quickly you can turn it around. Because again, last time out, Sauber were... Where'd they go? I'm trying to find the...
What, last race out?
No, last season.
Last
season, Sauber scored 5 points overall the entire season. This year, at present, they have Sauber 13.
Right. Can I just ask about them points that they've scored then?
Yeah.
How many has Ericsson actually scored? Because I'm pretty sure
none at all. They're all.
It was Verlaine, wasn't it?
What this last year?
Season? Yeah.
Oh, so you're asking how many points has Ericsson scored in his entire?
Well, last year and this year, everything is Leclerc this year, isn't it?
Well, Ericsson he scored 2 this year. Ericsson has.
Okay.
But yes, he scored nothing prior to that.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I tell a lie. He scored 9 points in 2015.
Right, but everything else was Verlaine last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we've both got sad faces for McLaren and Williams at the moment.
I have sad faces for Williams because they're a great team. They deserve better. I don't want to rag on young drivers because again, if you have a poor car, it's very hard for a young driver to get the experience to build it. but they shot themselves in the foot this season, in my estimation, with their driver lineup. And I mean, they went for pay drivers basically. I understand that, but at the end of the day, I think that was a mistake. With McLaren, it's more my you saw my tweet to McLaren after qualifying.
Yes,
that is my McLaren face. It's for those of you who didn't see it, it's from Blackadder the third of Edmund Blackadder going, "Oh God, it's pathetic." That's my McLaren face.
Yeah, what 120 plus likes on that?
It was the most like bloody reply to, because McLaren just posted finish 16th and 17th or sort of thing. I was just like, well, there's only one reply to that, really, isn't there?
You're better off just not putting anything. Just draw the garage shutters down very quietly, very slowly, and just pretend it didn't happen, and just turn up on the Sunday. Anyway, right, I'm gonna crack on with this. Q2,
yeah, sure.
It was drizzling at the green light, and both Mercedes topped the sheets earlier on. By midway, the drizzle had stopped, and Leclerc he made it through into Q3. So that was the story of that. We lost Ericsson, Gasly, Perez, Hulkenberg, and Ocon.
Mm-hmm.
And then into Q3, Hamilton got the first blood, and then Grosjean hit the wall, bringing out the red flags.
Yeah. I think they found a new game, though, with Grosjean. And I mentioned this on Twitter again, but Crofty, Brundle, and everyone kept saying, poor old Grosjean, he's been pointless this season.
Do you know Grosjean has as many points this season as me and you?
It's true. No, wait. We both have more points than him in our little game.
Oh, yeah, we do, yeah. What a loser. But it was a bit of a sad trombone crash, really, wasn't it?
The only other person with no points is Sergei Sirotkin.
Oh, okay. Well, he's in a Williams and we're not.
That's true. I mean, again, for comparison, Kevin Magnussen in 10th has 27.
Right. All right. Grosjean will get some soon. Don't worry. Not yet, but yeah, he will get some soon. What else happened there? Once the red flag had gone away, Bottas and Hamilton swapped positions at the top, but then it was back to normal service resuming, really, with Hamilton taking pole position from Bottas.
It was. I mean, something we forgot to mention at the top is they have the new engines. All the Mercedes teams have the new engines that they were hoping to get last time out, but for whatever reason couldn't. Well, I say for whatever reason, there was some QC issue.
Yeah, and I think that showed here as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
So they're very happy with their engines. Williams are very happy with their engines. It's just the rest of the stuff that's built around that engine is not working to their needs, really. Sebastian
not
Vettel,
quite to their satisfaction.
No, that's right. Sebastian Vettel was third, Max Verstappen fourth, Daniel Ricciardo fifth, Kimi Räikkönen sixth, Carlos Sainz in seventh, Charles Leclerc in eighth, Kevin Magnussen in ninth, and Romain Grosjean set no time in 10th.
Yeah.
Right, so shall we crack on with the race? Because I feel that you've got a lot to talk about on this.
A fair bit to talk about. Before we start, I just wanted to ask, as a general thing, thoughts of the Paul Ricard circuit?
I don't mind the layout.
Mm-hmm.
I've got no problem with the chicane down the big long straight.
Well, especially since there was a lot of doom and gloom about that, and the drivers want it gone for next time out.
Yeah.
It's very colourful, isn't it, with the blue and pink runoff areas, which do seem to go on, for several hundred miles in every direction.
It does feel like, you're kind of lost in that swirly colour, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I quite like the pit lane. It's very old school.
Oh, incredibly so.
It reminds me. I vividly remember. I think it's in the Senna documentary. and it might actually be about Paul Ricard, but I remember them talking about a race where, Senna came in, and it's that kind of like, you just kind of literally dive into, you take left off a straight and you're in the pit box. None of that kind of long run up, brake to get to the safety car limiter. No, It's like you turn off and you're on the safety car limiter straight away. Yeah. And they actually reduced the speed limit for this race to 40 miles an hour.
They did, yeah. That was Mercedes, wasn't it, requesting that?
Yes.
Because
Mercedes requested it because they were worried about their pit crew could be hurt. But we also saw at the end when Alonso retired and everyone's kind of running towards the podium because it's on the very last lap.
Yeah.
And you got a couple of guys running across the pit lane, and all of a sudden you got, there's a car there.
Oh, jeez. I missed that bit. Yeah. But yeah, I don't mind the pit box. There was a slight curve to it as well, which was quite character building, I suppose. The pit exit has a lot to be desired, though. You've got enough room to make a safer pit exit there.
We saw a little bit of, I think it was Grosjean, or maybe Magnussen. One of the Hasses trying to get past the Sauber out of the pit lane, I think in Q2.
Right.
And they were like side by side going down there. That's always fun.
Yeah, there is maybe 2 meters worth of tarmac as you're looking at it from the first corner on the left-hand side. You could put the pit exit there just so it bleeds into the fast lane on the actual track itself or the racing line itself. And I don't know, they just didn't think about doing that. It's there, you could do it, they just didn't do it.
Yeah. I think there'll be a few modifications made before next year.
Yeah.
Along that thing.
But I didn't mind it. There were a couple of camera aspects I didn't like. There was a couple of shots where the cars kind of disappeared behind a bump, and that's not good enough. And then when you got cranes and the camera crew on the crane and the crane's lifting up through trees, I don't mind it lifting through trees, but can we cut the trees back a little bit so we can see all the action going on behind there? It's like Melbourne now. We go to Melbourne and people forget to trim the trees, and now it's to the point where the trees are almost crossing the whole circuit. And you think,
I feel I need to ask this question. Are you saying you don't like a poorly kept bush?
I like to trim my bush a little bit.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, man.
Yes.
Nice bit of groundskeeping. Very important.
Yeah. That's right.
I mean, I kind of dancing around it. I know. So I know. I think it's safe to say you were not a fan of this race. Yes.
No, not one bit.
Yeah. I didn't mind it at all. In fact, quite frankly, I think this is the best race we've had since Baku.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see it being the best race since Baku. That doesn't fill me with optimism, though, because Spain and Canada were just dull.
And Monaco. Yeah.
And Monaco was just dull.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I mean, and that's it. I just saw you say it was dull, and I was like, well, I didn't feel that. I thought there was actually a fair amount going on there, which kept it interesting. A lot of it caused. So just people who aren't, obviously people who don't hang out with us in real life. There was it a touring car race? Basically, there was a massive touring car crash at the beginning of a race on the Saturday. Mm-hmm. The entire field taken out in the first corner. And I remember saying to you, I go, we need something like this to happen now and again. Just a little bit of first lap action, just to kind of spice it up a little bit,
Yeah.
And we kind of got that.
but we had first lap action in Canada. And we got a dull race.
We got the Canada definitely gave us a dull race. I'm not arguing that at all. I thought that was absolutely dull. But for whatever reason, this race, I felt there was a lot of overtaking, which I wasn't expecting. Mm. And you know me, I like a nice bit of overtaking, even if it is, lapped cars and stuff like that, because one of the things I can't stand is when you can't pass the lap car. There were some good battles going on throughout the field. Watching Vettel and Bottas try and make way through was great. I have notes, you see, because I made notes and everything.
Well, I'm glad that you're coming from a perspective that you really enjoyed it. At least we got. I was worried that we were both going to come here and go, yeah, okay, yeah, there was a race, and see you next time.
So, no. Well, when you messaged me saying it's going to be a short one, I was just like, yeah, no, it's not.
I'm glad. That makes me happy.
So does that. Oh, I just wanted to say again, very briefly, and this is a stupid, utterly inconsequential, insignificant thing, but it made me insanely happy. There was a shot just before they pulled away on the parade lap, and all of the LED lights on the backs of the cars were in sequence.
Oh, brilliant.
It was amazing. I was just like, yes.
That never happens.
It never happens, and they all got in, because usually they flash at slightly different rates, and they're like, they might be in sequence for a second, or there'll be one out. But no, both sides were both in perfect sequence. So you just had these like runway lights shining forward, and I was like, that's cool. I like that.
Oh, brilliant!
I like that. So yeah, that was kind of cool.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that gets excited when I pull up at a red light and my indicator is in sequence with the car in front. It never happens, man. But when they kind of sink into line and then they drop out, you're like, oh, okay, right. Who's ahead?
But I think this is saying far too much about our psyches. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about the start. I mean, everyone got away cleanly, at least as far as the first corner went. Vettel got away really well. Now they were on the ultra softs, weren't they?
Yes.
Which they felt would only go to about lap 15 before they would have to change. Everyone else was on the super softs. Or everyone around them was. But yeah, basically, Vettel, his second phase was really good, and all of a sudden he had nowhere to go. So he did the prudent thing and went straight into Bottas.
He was boxed in, wasn't he?
He was pretty much boxed in. And again, we have this problem that, you lose your front downforce when the car sweeps in front of you like that. So you've got no braking, your wheel locks up, and you're going straight to the scene of the accident. Yeah. To my mind, it was a total racing incident. But, we will no doubt talk about the Vettel penalty because a lot of people did. But yeah, he clipped Bottas, which was unfortunate. They both managed to limp back to the pits.
Yeah, it was a bit more than a clip, though, wasn't it?
No, it gave him a good smack. Obviously it broke Vettel's front wing, and it punctured instantly the rear tire of Bottas.
Yeah.
It unseated the bead, so it was effectively just a carcass rolling down. He had to limp back.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, there was a lot of other drama, which we'll get to in a second. So there was a safety car, so they were able to rejoin the rear of the train. Bottas had more damage because the tyre destroyed bits of a floor or something, or there was associated damage there.
Yeah.
And the net result of it was Vettel was given a 5-second time penalty to his race, which he served in his second pit stop. We've now had quite a few people come out saying, well, that doesn't seem terribly fair, but you ruined someone's race, and all you get is a 5-second penalty.
Right.
Your thoughts on such things?
Okay, my thoughts. Well, I don't know. There seems to be two camps. It's either against Ferrari and Vettel or for Ferrari and Vettel. There's no real down the line. I'm trying to be down the line for this because I feel it was a racing incident. You're going into the first corner on the very first lap, and you're whatever situation you're in, it's the start, and they have turned around. Race control has turned around and said, they are a little bit more lenient on the starts than any other situation because it is the start of the race, and situations occur. And I personally feel Vettel went in too hot. He lost the front end. He lost downforce on the front end, and he just misjudged it ever so slightly and caught Bottas, ruined both of their races. And 5-second penalty. If it's in keeping, wasn't it Ted that turned around and said that Max Verstappen got a 10-second penalty when he hit Vettel in China? I'm sure that's what happened there.
I think it might well be. It's possible, but I think again with a Verstappen thing, that was on the back of a couple of other incidents. There'd been a run of them, and that was also why Verstappen was getting so much criticism. Which is why I think it's very funny I don't know if did you see the post-race press conference?
Right, I'm going to be honest with you. The race finished, and I didn't even see the trophies. I know I've seen pictures of the trophies, but once the race finished,
the trophies were amazing. So in the press conference, though, they're asking, and then Verstappen, straight-faced, said, I feel that people have to take Vettel aside and speak to him about his driving standards. He has to change the way he drives. This is unacceptable at this level that you're making these sort of accidents, these sort of mistakes. But I think he needs to think very hard and change his style. Basically, parroting all the criticism that he was getting, which and Hamilton is wetting himself laughing next to him, which is great.
What's Kimi doing though?
Kimi is looking stone cold straight ahead, but I think there's a little twitch of a smile on the corner of his mouth. I don't want to say for certain, but it was very funny. Now it is funny, and I see the point he's making there. But again, this was on the back of a spate of incidents for Verstappen, and again, I'm in no way a Vettel fan. But this is really the first time Vettel's done something like this in a while. So this is less about it being Vettel's fault, more about people being unfair to Verstappen in his mind, I think.
Right.
I think 5 seconds. I mean, I don't even think you need the 5 seconds. And again, like I said, I'm not a Ferrari fan at all. It's racing incident, turn 1. If you're going to get clipped by a car, it's going to happen there.
I noticed on Twitter there was two. I forget who it was because I didn't take down names or anything like that. But someone said, "Please remind me of the penalty that Bottas got when he collided with Kimi Räikkönen and Max Verstappen at the start of Spain last year. You know where that little kid was crying when Kimi Räikkönen was knocked out."
I remember it. I don't remember if it was a penalty applied, though.
No, I don't think he did have a penalty. But then again, he's ruined two other drivers' races. But then again, I feel that was just a racing incident.
Yeah, again, I just don't think unless you do something rather stupid like you spin and then you decide to spin up your tyres and create a smoke screen across the entire track. I don't think you should be really penalising these sort of things because again, it's such a melee in the first corner.
Yeah.
You just can't realistically, police it. I don't think it's yeah.
There was another incident that I was reminded of where Bottas crashed into Kimi Räikkönen in Azerbaijan on one of the corners at the very beginning of the race. Maybe the second corner, I think it was, and totally destroyed both their cars as well. And there was no penalties applied there either. It was just
So I just had a look at Spain last year. There was no penalties to Bottas then. At least none listed on the Wikipedia. So
there you go. It was just a racing incident.
Yeah. I think 5 seconds, tough but fair. I don't have a problem with it. If you're going to give a penalty, then fine. 5 seconds seems fair enough.
Yeah.
I know it's not fair for Bottas because his car was more damaged, and so he wasn't able to go through the field as much. But this is racing. Life is not always fair in these sort of things.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times? Just think back to Adelaide '94. Schumacher hits Hill, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Damaged his car in a way, and even though Schumacher went out straight away, Hill can't finish it though. That's not fair, but that's just the way it is. And again, when he tried it with Villeneuve, collides and goes off. You can catch a car in a way that you can damage your own car. Even though you've done nothing wrong, you come off worse as a result of it. It just happens,
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the stewards are up against it though sometimes because it is a call of judgment, and every incident is slightly different from the ones previous as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it is just down to how they feel on that day. And okay, 5 seconds is not too bad. It's not going to destroy Vettel's race. I think if he'd been given a 10-second penalty, I don't think we would have been moaning about it either.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of them things, and I suppose it's what the flavour of the day is at the time.
You know what was missing though?
Okay.
We didn't have Charlie Whiting come over the radio to issue these penalties.
Oh man, that would have been good.
Yeah. Want to hear race control like actually issuing these orders? That'd be pretty cool.
That would have been amazing. Yeah. Okay, so there were a couple of other instances on that.
Well,
first
just
lap.
just want to touch on still just tying into that incident. Verstappen just completely skipped that corner.
I have no problems with that.
I've got no problems with it either. But I'll tell you what, that wasn't just avoiding it. He saw the opportunity and took it, knowing he'd get away with it.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a bit something crafty.
I'm not saying that's wrong, because, like you said, it is avoiding action. But he was aware of what was going on, saw it happening, and thought, I need to avoid that. Because Ricciardo avoided it as well. Ricciardo avoided it and went around the circuit still.
Yeah.
It cost him a place or two. Max just went, nope, screw that, straight over. His job's a good one.
He did the same thing in Mexico, didn't he, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
But I think with him is, I think he saw a cleaner line going straight across the chicane, and he was fourth going into that corner, and two cars in front of him collided. So he hasn't really gained anything. And there was a safety car, so it bunched everyone up. So he didn't gain anything. If anything, the two cars just made it easier for him to get to second. That was it.
Yeah.
So I don't see a problem with it. I know people were bitching about it and saying, oh, he should be penalised. Well, no, he's avoiding. If he'd turned left instead of going straight on, he might have forced like a reaction from Ricciardo, and then maybe they would have collected each other.
Yeah.
So I think he did the wise thing, just to keep it straight, keep your position. You haven't lost anything, you haven't gained anything, so no, I've got no problems with him doing that whatsoever.
Nah. Okay. Just wanted to check on that one. Now the second incident, let's just call it that, was two of our French drivers decided to ruin our third column by taking each other out. Around the next corner.
I think there were three French drivers involved in this.
Yes, I said two of our French drivers.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I understand. Yes.
Yes.
Vive la France.
Vive la France. Now Ocon got tagged by someone, I don't know who, but had a bit of wing damage.
That was Grosjean.
Oh, well, see, all three of them were involved. It's fine. But anyway, he basically got smacked up the inside by Gasly. Yeah. And again, wrote both their cars off and sent the Force India tyre hurtling down the road, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were both out there and then, and it was just like, that's a shame.
It was it? It's almost as sad as watching Jolyon Palmer pulling over at the British Grand Prix last year, just before the start of the race.
I didn't give a damn about that. Fuck Jolyon Palmer. Both drivers have been penalised. I'm just trying to see if there's any penalties applied to it. I think they've just been slapped on the wrist, effectively.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just again, two of the three French drivers are out by the second corner. Turn 3.
Yeah, it's a shame. It was carnage, though, wasn't it? And there was a lot of people. I think even Alonso turned around and said, if I knew there was a shorter cut, then I would have taken it. Maybe next year I will. So
I don't think Alonso needs to be worrying about Paul Ricard unless. Did WBC race here?
Yeah, I think that's what he was claiming at.
Still. That was the other part of it. And that's the one which triggered a safety car.
Yes, because there was bits all over the place, weren't there?
Bits all over the place, a couple of cars stranded in kind of awkward positions. So we had a good old-fashioned safety car. So it let Vettel and Bottas get back to the pits.
Yep.
And you also had Alonso, for reasons known best only to himself, decided that would be an opportunity to pit as well and put on new tyres. Giving up track position on a circuit reputedly impossible to pass on, so don't know who was thinking that would be a good idea at that point. So there was that. And an interesting thing that happened under the safety car, we didn't see this at the time, but there was a penalty issued for it later on, is Sergei Sirotkin was penalised for driving too slow behind it.
That must be a fault with his deltas, surely.
You'd think so, because again, they have set deltas. But that being said, no, but surely behind the safety car, you're just following the safety car or the car in front, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. Well, then it's... I know you're not allowed to get within 10 car lengths of the car in front. Or maybe it's just a safety car, but you've got to keep a certain distance, haven't you?
I think that might be the case of the safety car, but I definitely don't think that applies to other cars. I will refer you to the honourable gentleman to the case of one Mr. S. Vettel and L. Hamilton in Baku last year.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's it. And the other thing is as well, it just seems weird because, again, he was at the very back, I think, with only Vettel, Bottas and Alonso behind him. So it's just like maybe one of they had lodged a complaint or something. It's just, how do you do that? It's just...
Well, yeah, surely you catch up with the crocodile, don't you?
Well, exactly. It's truly trained.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not too sure if they have deltas. If they are so far behind and they have to catch the safety car up, you can't have a car trying to catch up with the back of the pack at full pelt if people are still working around the circuit.
Well, I get that, yeah, but even so, I don't know how it works. But he wasn't chasing to catch up to the pack. Yeah. There were cars in front of him, so how did he fall that far back? And
how the hell did he go too slow behind the safety car?
Basically, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's peculiar. I'd like to see a report on that. See if anything comes through on it.
It is true. Again, though, this just points to inexperience on the driver's part.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like I keep ragging on them because I'm not trying to just put the boot in for the sake of it. But I just think Williams fundamentally made a mistake with their driver lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So there was that, yeah. But yeah, we got going again. And again, I mean, I think one of the things I enjoyed about this race, I mean, yeah, at the very front, Lewis was gone, but I think we always knew that was going to be the case from Friday practice.
Yeah.
Once they had that new engine, we knew that was it. But still, you had the Red Bulls, doing as soon as Vettel and Bottas were taken out of it, sort of thing, it was a dynamic situation up at the front with Vettel with a very skinny wing, as opposed to Ricciardo with a lot more downforce there. So you have different philosophies. So down the straights, Verstappen's going to be quicker.
Mm.
But then in the twisty stuff, Ricciardo's potentially got the advantage. You had Kimi stretch those ultra softs to double the distance Pirelli said they would do.
Yes.
So again, respect to Kimi there for doing that, which I thought was great. And then you had Vettel and Bottas just carving their way through. And again, Vettel on the soft tyres. Again, soft, ultra soft, super soft. Just on the hard tyre.
Yeah, the hard.
Vettel on the hard tyre is, cutting his way through the field, and he is pegging it. He is giving it the beans to get through there. Which then, when we got towards the end, that hurt him because he'd eaten all the life out of that tyre.
Yeah.
But still, it was great seeing that. There was some great overtakes. I thought, he set up some of those beautifully, and some of them were textbook. I mean, again, some of them were straight out of the sort of stuff we were seeing at Le Mans with the LMP ones passing like the LMP twos. I'm expecting to see the flashing headlights before he just kind of goes around some of them.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Vettel carving his way through. I was a bit disappointed that Bottas couldn't, but obviously with a bit of damage on his car, he's not going to make as much progress. But
he was about 2 cars behind, I think. It was usually like Vettel would be like, would take a car, and then Bottas was a car before he got to that one.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah. But it also shows that I feel that the Ferrari is better in dirty air than the Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Just comparing them two like that. What else did I enjoy about that? I feel that I don't normally say this, but I feel that the DRS was maybe a little bit too strong towards the end of the straights.
I agree with that as well. It was perhaps just a little bit too strong because there was, Ricciardo picked up some wing damage towards the end, and we were like, Kimi was closing in. And then, Ricciardo is a fantastic passer. He's a great defender as well. And we thought, nice. Now we're going to get some nice little, how wide can he make that Red Bull? But as soon as he got onto the straight, Kimi was just effectively able to walk past him. Mm. That was disappointing. But up until that point, especially during the first set of turns after the pit straight and all that. There was some great defending there, and I thought that was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
Can I just recommend something maybe with the DRS, if they're going to keep DRS in circuits like this? Surely it's possible to make that an automatic close system where if you pass a certain segment on the track, then you trigger something that the DRS closes. So if you have DRS zones starting sooner, and then all of a sudden maybe you get in the tow with the DRS, you start driving past, and then your DRS closes, that's going to you still have to finish that move off.
You're kind of already artificial. You're making something that's already stupidly artificial even more artificial. I think what they want to be doing is getting to a point where you don't need DRS.
I'd love to have no DRS, but I'm just trying to play around with the system to see if it would work or not.
I get what you're saying and what you're suggesting, and maybe you're right. But any effort they might put into doing that would be better served in just figuring a system where they don't need it in the first place.
Yeah.
'Tis my humble opinion there.
No, it's cool. It's cool, man.
So that was a bit of a shame. But yeah, just watching them car through the field, I thought was entertaining. Renault, I thought were doing really well with Carlos Sainz up until towards the end when he lost power.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shame, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he was running up in 6th or something like that, and then just kind of lost power, and all of a sudden, Magnussen and Bottas was able to get past him there, and he was still able to keep going. Because I won't lie, I saw who was at 11th, and I was like, oh, come on, Sainz, get it to the end. You've got time, you can do it.
I'm glad you weren't the only one looking at that then.
yeah, that was a bit of fun. Charles Leclerc, everyone keeps raving about this kid, but he's in the Sauber, which again, let me just repeat to you all. Last year, scored a total of 5 points, came plumb last. Now this year, it's gotten the Alfa Romeo sponsorship and a more Ferrari support, which is great. But just look at where Marcus Ericsson is in comparison to this kid, this rookie. And again, they ditched Pascal Wehrlein for Marcus Ericsson, or rather, they chose to keep him over Pascal Wehrlein.
That's right, yeah.
Which means they do rate him to an extent. I'm sure they rate his purse slightly more, perhaps. But still, it's. I don't see there's any way Charles Leclerc isn't in. If Kimi Raikkonen's not in that Ferrari, it's Charles Leclerc next year.
Yes.
In fact, I tell you what, I wouldn't surprise me the slightest bit if Kimi decided or Ferrari decided he was done. I don't think they will because he's delivering still. But if he was to leave mid-season, I could see him getting the promotion earlier.
I know what you're saying. I don't think they would do that because that would disrupt their B team.
No, I agree with that.
Their B team now, isn't it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because Kimi's delivering, they won't do it. But if Kimi wasn't delivering, they would probably do that. Especially when it's a situation where they want to win the Constructors' Championship and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Kimi's fine for now because he's safe. I don't think he'll be there next year though.
Yeah. While we're on Kimi, I quite enjoyed what he was doing towards the very end. He did get in front of Daniel Ricciardo with the pit stop. That was pleasant to see, I suppose. I know Daniel Ricciardo had a bit of problem with a damaged wing, didn't he? He had wing.
No, he didn't pass him in the pit stop. He passed him on the track, my friend.
Hang on, no, I thought he was in the pit stop.
No, Kimi passed him.
When did he pass him?
Towards the end, he was closing in. Getting close. It was after Kimi's pit stop.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
He was.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, and that's what I was just literally saying a couple of minutes ago. It was nice watching the fight between Ricciardo and Kimi, but then when he got onto the straight, the DRS just let him walk past him.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So maybe it was like when did I see the? Just a second. So when you said you didn't enjoy this race, did you accidentally watch Canada again? No, I didn't. No. No, I just felt it was a bit flat. Honestly, I know there was all these passing manoeuvres, but it just didn't work with me. Do you know what? I think I'm falling out of love with the Sky commentators.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It's not working for me this season.
Oh no!
I think I've had a couple of seasons too many with them now.
Well, if you'd like to join me hosting the Grand Prix podcast going forward, if you just send an email to boxboxbox at Grand Prix podcast. No, I get that. I mean, do you get alternate ones on the? I don't think you do on the red button anymore because, again, when it used to be on BBC, you had the alternate commentary teams. Oh
man, I wish they'd still do CBeebies. They were brilliant. They used to do like a CBeebies commentary. I think that was, obviously that was on BBC One, but man, that was different. That was so.
What I think the answer is obviously you need to just watch it without commentary and record your own.
It's a possibility. I've thought about that. I don't know. I think I'd be terrible. In fact, I know I would be terrible.
I didn't want to say, but yeah, probably. I'm just looking here at my little bit of notes. And look, it's no mistake that I am a big fan of Alonso, but I felt he was a bit petulant this weekend.
Yes,
and I've got to tell you, look, if you've made up your mind, Fernando, that you're done, you know that McLaren is never going to get you a podium this season. Quit. Step away. Just say you want to focus on your preparations for whatever. Let Lando Norris get some race time in the McLaren.
Yeah.
Let do that. I mean, I know McLaren won't let him do that because they need him to flatter the car. But there was a bit where he was basically like on the radio saying, "I've got no tires, I've got no brakes, I don't really care what's going on."
Mm.
And it's just, look, I know you won. One of the greatest races in the world 7 days ago. I know you're here languishing, stuck behind a pair of Williams, and no one wants to be doing that just now.
But whose fault is that, though?
What, that he's behind the Williams?
No, that he's where he is at the moment. It's because he was hard to work with at the beginning of his career, and that's why he's ended up there.
It's true. It's true. He has, like a fine wine, has aged nicely. I think he's matured well. Now, maybe not a wine, like a good Stilton.
Uh-huh.
He has matured into a strong, flavorful, aromatic blue cheese.
He's very veiny.
Very veiny, yes. You know what it is? You know what this is? It's Riker syndrome. Now, I know you're not a fan of Star Trek, so you won't understand this.
No.
But it states that when your main character grows a beard, it becomes a good show. As soon as Alonso grew the beard, he became good. Woe betide if he ever shaves, because he'll just become an absolute dick again.
Yeah, I think he'd look weird now, wouldn't he?
He whenever you see the archive stuff, he looks weird. His chin's too big. But anyway, and to be fair, we saw this with Jensen as well. When he was clean shaven as a little bit cocky, kind of made some poor decisions, grew the beard, boom, world champion.
Mm.
I'm telling you, you want to win in this world, you got to grow a beard. So I think that Alonso now, bearded Alonso, evil Alonso, if you will, from the Mirror Universe. Perhaps if he could go back, wouldn't make as many of the choices he has done. But it is. I totally get the frustration. I really do. I'm feeling it as well, and I want to give him that car. But look, if you don't want to be there, mate, don't be. Just let Lando Norris have a go, or whatever. Just focus on your WEC and doing your prep for IndyCar or whatever.
Did he ask for a new set of tyres to try and get the fastest lap at the end of this race?
Apparently, according to Ted, he was badgering the team for pretty much the entire last half to just put some fresh tyres on so he could try for the fastest lap so he could retire after that.
Jesus.
But then he managed to break the suspension. Well, the suspension broke or something. And
yeah, I've seen photos of that and a bit of footage as well. And it doesn't look great, does it? It's just another, for fuck's sake, McLaren. Because
I thought he was retiring the car out of spite. Like, if I'm not going to do this, I'm just going to retire the car and not be classified. But then I saw it, and it was damaged, and that was that. So yeah, I mean that's kind of my thoughts on the race, as it were. I have a few thoughts about post-race though. Well, now I don't know. Do you want to do the rundown first and then that, or
there was one situation at the very end that we missed as well.
Oh yes, Stroll's tyre going. Boop.
Yeah.
Yes, because he'd been racing on those tyres since lap 1. Because I think he pitted under the safety car as well.
Yeah.
And it went and destroyed his front wing. And again, just drove off into the no man's land of the runoff areas, you know. But I think it doubles as a car park or something like that the rest of the year. But then 3 laps before the end, we get a VSC.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
Destroyed 3 very entertaining races that were going on. You had, let me see where it was. Bottas was hunting down Magnussen for 6th, and I think might well have taken it. And then you also had Ericsson, Hartley, Sirotkin, and Stroll all fighting for like 12th to 16th.
Yep.
And again, VSC, boom, all racing is suspended.
Yeah.
Annoyed the fuck out of me. And I think double waved yellows would have been perfectly fine.
I can't see a problem in putting a safety car out, drive that around really slow and have everyone bunch up and have the last lap as a massive lottery.
No, I'm against that 100%.
No,
100% against that.
I'm not.
No. At that point, you've made a farce of the entire race.
No, I don't think so.
You've made an absolute farce of the entire race up until that point. I think double wave yellows would have been fine because through that corner with its 17 million miles of runoff area, you know, you slow down on that, but you can still race over the rest of it. You bring a safety. The problem with a safety car is that you couldn't get it in and out in 3 laps anyway.
No, that's true.
So again, that's kind of pointless. But you do that. Again, you've made a mockery of the entire race. What was the point? Why not just have a 3-lap sprint race and just call it good?
Yeah.
You know, what's the point?
I'm just thinking off the cuff. That's all.
Well, yeah.
I don't like the VSC anyway. So.
I don't like the VSC. Again, we spoke about this last time. I understand why we have a VSC. I'm still more of a proponent of safety zones over VSCs or double waved yellows or what have you. I don't think you need to penalise I don't think you need to suspend the entire circuit, just the place where the incident is. But I mean, that's why the VSC was brought in, though. It was because drivers were not respecting double waved yellows. Now, if you introduce something like what they have in WEC, the safety zone, which is speed limited, there's a delta time. So if you say, if there's an incident in sector 2, fine, you have to stick to a delta time in sector 2. And after that, off you go. You can go and race sectors 1 and 3 as you wish. And yeah, you know, if you're caught in the wrong place, you know, that sucks. But it's the same with any of this sort of thing. Bottas's race was ruined at that point because he couldn't, well, his race was already ruined, but his chance of taking 6th was gone at that point because of that. And I don't think it was likely because I think Hamilton at that point of the race was just toying with them. But we've seen instances where, you know, you're closing in on someone with, you know, tyres that are slightly shagged and you're thinking, yes, they're going to get them. It's going to be a lunge down the inside on the end of it. VSC, boom, there you go. Never mind.
Yeah.
The race is over. The race was over 3 laps before the end. So that's twice in a row now that the race has ended 3 laps early.
It is, yes. Oh, man, I hadn't thought about that. I'd actually cleared that from my memories.
Oh, you're welcome. I like to remind you about it.
Yeah,
it was quite funny as well. That this time it was like, you know, Hamilton's on the end and it's like, well, where's the flag coming from? And all of a sudden the marshal suddenly sticks his arm out and the flag's waving there.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the race with Lewis Hamilton winning, Max Verstappen 2nd, Kimi Räikkönen 3rd, Daniel Ricciardo 4th. Sebastian Vettel made it up to 5th. Kevin Magnussen was 6th. Valtteri Bottas made it up to 7th with his damaged car. Carlos Sainz survived and made it down to 8th and not out the top 10. Nico Hülkenberg was 9th and Charles Leclerc was 10th.
Well done, Mr. Leclerc, yes.
So, yeah, you wanted to talk about the after show or anything like that?
Well, just a couple of points, which you didn't see. Firstly, best trophies ever. Yeah, I loved them. They were these Donkey Kong, effectively, holding a barrel painted in the French tricolour colours. Yeah. It was awesome. Love those trophies. They were cool. Now, because of the way the pit layout here is, it's like right in the middle of a pit lane.
Yeah.
So, and again, because of where the cars pull in and all that, the drivers do their immediate post-race, have a microphone shoved down their gullets straight away. But then after that, they have to jump into a minivan and drive down to where the podium is. And what was great is you had a camera in there with him. And it was like it used to be. We could hear them having a chat, what they thought. You could hear Verstappen and Hamilton saying they think that Vettel should have had longer than a 5-second penalty and all that. And it was just really nice to hear that conversation again. And again, I still don't like sticking the microphone in their face straight away. I also noticed Lewis didn't put his steering wheel back on the car. And I know that's not a huge thing, but I don't even know if it went into the car, if someone just fucking nicked it.
Oh, man. You imagine?
Because I've got to tell you, if I was there, I would totally nick that.
Oh, that would have been in my bag straight away.
Yeah. Okay, this isn't so much a post... I'm just going through my notes here. This isn't so much a post-race thing, more of a thing in general, though. Why is Christian Horner the only team boss Sky seems to talk to at the minute? I don't care what Christian Horner thinks at the minute. Can we hear some other team bosses?
They have had other team bosses.
Yeah, but for the last 3 races at least, it's been Christian Horner because, him and bloody Brundle are doing a double act thing or something.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, they've got something going on there, haven't they?
I don't know what it is.
It's like the BBC when they have all the presenters going on each other's programs. It's just, come on. Yeah, okay, right. You've got a circle of friends. You're all going around circle jerking each other, and it's just a bit boring.
Yeah, you know what I think they should do? This is genius. You're going to like this. I think the FIA should mandate that the team bosses have to take it in turns. So there's 20 races? So each team has to do this on one race, right?
Okay.
Has to be the team boss's voice. Just because I want to hear Aruva Bene being forced to do that.
Oh, man.
I want to hear that, especially if it's a day when it's not going so great. That would be the most awkward thing on the planet. I would love it.
It'll be yes, no answers. You know that.
I don't care. I want to hear Martin Brundle and David Croft try and tease some information out of Aruva Bene while he's getting increasingly pissed off that he's been forced to do this. Oh, make this happen, please. Ross Brawn, there's this week's Grand Prix Podcast top tip. Force the team bosses to do that. So I want to hear that. No disrespect to Christian. Don't care. We've heard you from enough this season. Let's hear some other people. The last thing is, and this is just a minor little gripe, and it's probably a silly little thing, but I really don't like how some of the teams insist that the second the race is finished, putting those blinds in front of the garages while Ted's doing his notebook and stuff like that. Because
it's become more and more frequent over the last year or two, isn't it?
The rules state that from basically during the race weekend, so basically from FP1 until the end of the race, garages have to be open and visible. They're not allowed to be shut or blocked off. You can't stop people looking in and doing anything like that. But the second the race is finished, boom, they stick these bloody big barriers in front of it.
Yeah.
And to my mind, it's why are you even bothering? We've already seen everything going on in there because you can't do anything during the race weekend. So you're not hiding anything from the rest of the teams and all that. And it just, you're blocking up the backdrop while Ted's doing his stuff or other people are looking at this sort of thing. It looks messy, uninviting, and makes you look like douchebags. So don't do it.
Can I suggest, it could be where they're just tearing down the cars and they are getting to a point where they are breaking down the cars down to their smaller pieces. And when they arrive at the circuit, there are only 2 points where the cars are like that. And that's when they arrive at the circuit and when they're leaving at the circuit. And teams will just walk up and down and just take stills as much as they want. So that's all they're trying to cover over.
I understand that. But at the end of the day, at this point of a thing, there's nothing on any of those cars none of the other teams hasn't already seen.
No,
guarantee it. Be it through, people just going up and taking a look, or Vettel trying to find his phone.
I love that one. That's good.
I don't know if did you tweet it from the Twitter? Basically, if you go to if you haven't, retweet it. If you go and check out our Twitter, which is at Grand Prix Pod. Yeah, check that out. There's a great little video someone's made of all the times when Vettel gets out of his car and he goes and looks at other people's cars, and they've just put captions over it like he's looking for his phone. Yeah. It's the best thing ever. I love it.
It's the last thing I retweeted.
Oh, right. Anyway.
Is my phone here? No.
No. Is it in here? No. Have you seen my phone? No. Oh, okay. Is it in here? It's awesome. I love it. It's great. But yeah, I don't think they should be putting, and it's only the, well, I say this like this explains why they do it. It's literally, Mercedes, Ferrari's the worst for it, I think, because, I'm pretty sure if Ferrari had their way, the shutters would be down. They open the shutter, let the car out, and they'd come down again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you get further down the field, and they're open, and they're taking the cars apart, and it just seems like a better, looking thing. And yeah, I just feel that it ruins the show, it ruins the spectacle, and yeah, I don't like it. Stop doing it.
Yeah,
it annoys me.
We want our eye candy, don't we?
Exactly. I want to see them stripping down the cars at the end of the day.
Yeah. Exactly. Right, well, should we get onto the drivers and constructors stand-ins?
Yes, let us do those things. Do you want me to do one?
Yeah, go on. You do the drivers' standings, and then I'll do the constructors.
Okay. In at 5 is Kimi Räikkönen with 83 points. Dropping down to 4th is Vitaly Bottas with 92 points, or Valtteri Bottas even. Jumping back up to 3rd is Daniel Ricciardo with 96 points. Falling to 2nd with 131 points is Sebastian Vettel. And retaking the lead by 14 points now is Lewis Hamilton with 145.
Okay, and there are no changes in the constructors' stand-ins. So we have in at 5, McLaren Renault with 40 points. In at 4, Renault with 62 points. Number 3, we have Red Bull Racing with 164 points. Ferrari are at 2nd place with 214 points. And Mercedes are still topping the charts with 237 points.
Nice.
Okay, so that's right. Now we get into the really important part of the weekend.
Oh, yeah. The bit where we both get more points than Roman Grosjean has. Sorry, because he's pointless.
Okay, well, my contract once again stipulates, do you remember what you went for?
Oh, God, that was so confusing. I'd forgotten 2 seconds after we said it last time out. I think I went for Hamilton for pole in the race, but I couldn't tell you what my 3rd and 4th columns were.
Okay, right. Well, we only had 3 columns.
Okay.
Pole position went to Hamilton. I went with Verstappen, so I get no points. And you went with Hamilton, so you get a point. Well done, sir.
Yay!
And for the race was won by Mr. Lewis Hamilton. I went with Verstappen, once again, 0 points for me, and you went with Ricciardo, so no points for you, mate.
No.
Yeah, and in our 3rd column, we had the bottom finishing Frenchman.
Yes.
And we had to get the position right, and then for a bonus point, we had to get the driver right. And
That's true, yes.
I went with 17th position, and who finished 17th? It's Lance Stroll. So, he's not French. Although he's Canadian French.
No, it doesn't count. And technically it's a DNF.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, yes. So I also went with Gasly, so I get no points for that. And you went for 15th position. Who finished in 15th? Sorokin finished in 15th.
Sorokin. So we both got the Williams places down.
Yeah, we did, yeah. And you also went with Grosjean, but unfortunately he finished 11th. So you get no points as well. So well done to us. So grand total of 1 point scored this weekend by you. Well done, you. So if I add
it bears repeating though. It's still 1 point more than Grosjean got.
It certainly is. So I have 7 points at the moment, and you had 6 points. So you're catching up.
Wow, it's getting close, isn't it?
It is.
At least it's not the route it was last year.
I don't know. You can always overtake very, very soon and then just destroy me again. So don't worry about that.
Finish him.
Okay, so Austria out next time, aren't we?
It is. Would you like the customary stats?
Yes, please.
So last time out, previously on the Austrian Grand Prix, pole position was Valtteri Bottas. Fastest lap was Lewis Hamilton. And a podium was Bottas from Vettel from Ricciardo. Okay. And just in terms of all-time stats, because this is Red Bull ring, which is technically the same as the old A1 ring, but I'm just trying to see if I can get a list of... Because did they reprofile it or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it has been reprofiled, but it still needs work done on it.
Yeah, I can't find the... I can't find the bit where it tells me who's won the most here. So people have won lots of times here.
Yep.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, since you're still behind me in the point standings at the moment, who would you like to predict for pole position?
It's the boring one, but I'm going for points, so I'm going to go with Lewis for pole.
Okay, you're going for Lewis. I'm going to go for Vettel this time out. There we go. And for the race?
I'm going to go Lewis again.
You're going for Lewis. I want to go with a Vettel because I like this little battle that we got on at the moment.
Yeah?
I think it might be a Red Bull, though.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I think it might be a Red Bull. But what I'll do, I'm going to say Vettel. There we go.
Okay. Well, that's good because I have an idea for third column.
I've already written it down.
Yeah, so top finishing Red Bull, basically, yeah?
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we doing position and then driver, or are we just?
I think if we do that, because if we just do the driver, then it's whoever picks one is stuck. The other one's stuck with the other person.
Okay.
Whereas if we go with the position, then we can do our patented bonus point if we correctly guess which driver was in that position.
Okay.
I quite like the bonus point system. You see,
yep.
It adds a little. If you get it on the money, and then you really get it on the money, it's like, well, there you go. It's bonus ball,
Yeah. And at the very end, the last race will just double all the points.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because that always works, doesn't it?
It does, Bernie. It does. So yeah.
Go on then. No, you go first.
Okay. I think the top Red Bull will be third.
Third.
And I'm going to say it'll be Danny.
Okay. I'm going to go with second. And I'm going to say Verstappen.
You see, what would have been a really bold move here is if you'd said first.
Yeah.
And Verstappen, despite you already claiming you think Vettel would win, because then you kind of quids in either way.
I am,
you could say, you got a joke if you want to change it, I will allow it. But I'm just saying that would be a bold move right there. Because you're losing one of those points, whatever happens. You couldn't clean sweep.
That's true. Oh, man. And now if I change, it's like
was it last time out when I changed and I really shouldn't have changed? It was the Monaco. It was how many leaders?
That's right, yeah. Yeah. Oh, if I change... No, I'm going to have to leave it like that. If I change, then I'll just screw everything up.
Okay.
So there we go. All right. That is set in stone for next time out.
Which
is only next week.
It's only next week, I know.
So you're still going to be in America. We're going to be halfway through the triple header as well.
Yes.
And hopefully I might find out whether I'm going to Silverstone or not.
It's true, because so a little production meeting while we're on the air here, right? But if you do go to Silverstone, which means we can't record on the Sunday, we won't be able to record until the following Tuesday when I'm back in the UK.
That's right. And then I'm doing Black Dog on the Tuesday.
So yeah.
So Wednesday.
I want you to look at all the listeners, all three of them, in the eye and tell them to screw those losers because you're going to go to Silverstone instead of recording the cast for them.
If I get the chance to go there, then yeah, it may be delayed by a day or two. I apologise now. I'm not saying I am going though. I'm not. There's no guarantee yet. There's no guarantee. So I don't want to jinx myself. But yeah, I might. But I might not. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yes, we shall.
Yeah.
Yes, we shall.
Okay, right. So that's happening next time out. Have you got anything to promote to these lovely listeners out there that like downloading podcasts and listening to us talk?
Just the usual suspects. All of our stuff is on RogueTwoMedia.com. So go and give it all a listen over there. While I'm out here, I haven't been doing any derelicts though, so there's nothing there at the minute. But once I'm back in the UK, we'll do something. Okay,
cool. And you can catch me on the Black Dog podcast as per normal. You can also catch me and Andy on the From the Earth to the Moon podcast and the Band of Brothers podcast, where we cover both of them HBO TV series. And so until next time out, thank you very much for everyone that's listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.
Especially if Octagon's got a problem, because 2.8 has become 1.9 in the space of a lap, so that's going to happen, isn't it?